A very tall son named Barron. Has anyone ever heard of
There is a new teenager in the White House. President Donald Trump's youngest son, Barron, has turned 13.
Barron Trump, the youngest in the spotlight of one of the world's most famous families, has always lived under an intense lens, but few have ever seen what life looks like behind the headlines. Today, we take a closer look at the little-known details that define their private life. Step inside and see the side of Barron Trump almost no one knows. Growing up, Trump living quietly. Barron William Trump was born into one of the most recognizable families on the planet. Yet from the beginning, his upbringing followed a noticeably different rhythm. As the youngest child of Donald Trump and the only child he shares with Melania Trump, Barron grew up largely shielded from the political spotlight that defined much of his father's public life. While cameras followed every move of the Trump presidency, Melania made a deliberate effort to keep her son's daily world as normal and private as possible. That instinct shaped Barron into someone observers often describe as reserved, thoughtful, and deeply uncomfortable with unnecessary attention. Unlike his older siblings, Barron spent much of his childhood away from campaign trails and political rallies. During his father's first presidency, he was widely considered an apolitical figure, even as media fascination followed him simply because of his last name. That balance between fame and distance would later become a defining feature of his personal life, especially his romantic relationships. A family influence that runs deep, Barron's identity has always been shaped by both sides of his family. From his father, he inherited a towering physical presence and a familiarity with power and wealth. From his mother, he gained a strong connection to European culture and a quieter, more controlled approach to public life. Melania Trump, originally from Slovenia, raised Barron bilingual, and he grew up fluent in Slovene, even speaking it with a slight accent as a child. Family bonds played a central role in his early years. He was especially close to his maternal grandmother, Amalia Knavs, with whom he spoke frequently until her death in early 2024. That closeness reinforced a sense of family loyalty and emotional privacy. That continues to define Barron's behavior today. Even small personal details, like Melania's nickname for him, Little Donald, reflect the tight, insular nature of his family world. Education, discipline, and staying grounded. After leaving the White House, Barron relocated with his parents to Florida, where he attended Oxbridge Academy in West Palm Beach, graduating in 2024. Those years away from Washington allowed him to live more like a typical student, even as Secret Service protection and public curiosity remained constant realities. Barron also developed interests that had nothing to do with politics or business. Soccer became a serious passion, and during his teenage years, he played as a midfielder, even signing with the DC United Academy. The sport offered structure, discipline, and an escape from his family name, something teammates often noted he rarely leaned on. That same desire for independence later influenced his academic path. Although he initially attended New York University's Manhattan campus, he transferred to NYU's Washington, D.C. campus in 2025, a move that quietly signaled his preference for lower visibility and more controlled surroundings. A romance built in the shadows. Barron Trump's approach to relationships mirrors his approach to life, intensely private. According to celebrity journalist Rob Shooter, Barron entered a serious relationship that began quietly and stayed that way. There were no social media posts, no public appearances, and no carefully staged photo moments. The couple, by all accounts, made a conscious decision to stay out of the spotlight. Sources describe the relationship as meaningful and emotionally significant to Barron. As their one-year anniversary approached in early 2026, the relationship reportedly ended, not due to scandal or drama, but because his girlfriend chose to focus on her own path. For someone raised with a strong sense of loyalty and emotional restraint, the breakup hit hard. Those close to Barron say he genuinely believed the relationship had long-term potential. The separation forced him into a period of reflection rather than public distraction, reinforcing his tendency to process personal matters privately, reconnecting without the noise. In recent months, reports suggest that Barron and his former girlfriend have quietly reconnected. There has been no public confirmation, no visible displays, and no attempt to reframe the story for media consumption. Instead, the reconnection appears to be cautious and deliberate, driven by mutual respect rather than impulse. One telling detail emerged when Barron reportedly returned to New York City to organize an elaborate but discreet date night at Trump Tower. Even then, efforts were made to avoid attention, highlighting how carefully he manages the boundary between personal life and public curiosity. Those familiar with the situation say there is no bitterness between the two, only an acknowledgement that what they shared still matters. Privacy as a core value. Barron's insistence on privacy is not accidental, it is deeply learned. Growing up under constant scrutiny taught him that attention can distort even the most genuine moments. Friends describe him as thoughtful and cautious, someone who weighs emotional decisions carefully rather than acting impulsively. This mindset extends to how he handles fame itself. Despite viral speculation about his height, his father famously stating that Barron stands at 6 feet 9 inches, Barron has never engaged with public commentary about his appearance or personal life. Silence for him is a form of control, a young man finding his own path. At just 19, Barron Trump occupies a rare position. He is simultaneously one of the most recognizable young names in America and one of its most private. While political insiders have credited him with offering strategic advice to his father's 2024 campaign, particularly around engaging younger voters through podcasts and online influencers, Barron himself has avoided any formal political role. That balance between influence and distance defines his current chapter. His romantic life, much like his upbringing, exists largely out of view. What emerges instead is the picture of a young man navigating adulthood carefully, shaped by family, loyalty, and a deep desire to keep what matters most protected from the public eye. If you enjoyed stepping inside their private world and want to see more exclusive stories about the lives of the rich and famous, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications.